And we are live with the first game of the ICL final between the MU Bears and Green Toad Company. I am David Wims. Alongside me this morning is Tig, the Celtic Tiger Brennan. How are you doing this morning, Tig?
Pretty hyped for the final, ready for a good showing, hoping for a good, 5 game series, hopefully keep it close.
Hope for that as well. And so we'll look at the bands coming in. We see Azir and Zed, the first two. So the mid lane already a heavy focus from both sides. The LeBlanc coming in as well as the Bears' second band. So they're really looking, or sorry, Green Talk Company second band. So they're really looking to take Azrael out of it.
And they have done with their first two bans, and you do see the Aurelia coming for MU Bears, definitely targeted at N line, big Aurelia player, not today.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Aurelia from N-Line throughout the ICL so far. So right now, just waiting on the last couple of bans to come in. Will we see Green Toe Company look towards the mid lane? Actually, no, they're going to go for the Morgana, taking that away from Wolfie, who played it in the semi-final against Trinity Force. And we'll see how the Bears respond.
Yeah, I think Morgana technically also a mid lane ban, but not not realistically. Graves used for that AD carry ban. That's probably the strongest AD carry right now, so good to ban him away from Drieger.
Yeah, we know Wolfie is a good Graves player for Ferocity, but in this game it looks as if it's going support, so they will take him away from Drieger. Right now we do see the Sejuani hover from Green Tail Company, and that would be a great pickup for them. Sejuani, a very strong champion in this patch.
Yeah, one of the highest win rate junglers. Very easy to see why as well. Extremely strong team fights, really good scaling, and with that flat health scaling on her W and Cinder Hulk, coming out with damage as well for someone so tanky.
Yeah, that Cinder Hook was exactly what she needed, and we will wait to see what they're going to go for with that one. It looks like they're going to take the Sejuani as the first pick, although they're waiting on it right now, so we could see the last minute switch. But no, they are going to go with the Sejuani here, so yeah, they're going to lock that up, and we'll see how XJ responds in the jungle.
Yeah, they can go with a lot of different things here. With Sejuani locked in, they will have a strong team fight regardless of what they pick from Green Toad Company. So what MU Bears want to do with that, whether they want to respond with another strong team fighting comp, whether they want to respond with a pick comp, it completely depends. I mean, if they do pick the picks they're hovering, it would be, but realistically they are going to swap them. XJ, an extremely strong Lee Sin. Falunov played Maokai for the last two games in the semi-final. Had a pretty good showing on him, scaling well into the late game. So I think it's a good pickup for both those picks there.
Yeah, we did see Falonov first blood Devils in that semi-final on the Maokai, so he'll definitely be looking for that sort of repeat performance in this game. We also see the Lee Sin come in from XJ, and there's not a lot that can be said about that. XJ's Lee Sin is very good and is well known throughout the Irish scene.
Yeah, and even in some of the other games we watched, if you watched the Panda Peanut Butter series yesterday even, it was extremely potent in the early game, coming out with a huge amount of kills in the early game. It's this huge laning, this huge force controlling the lanes, and we do see Sivir locked in and Janna. That will be the bot lane. Heavy disengage, a lot of utility in that with the Janna and of course the Sivir's ultimate. What they go with after this will be interesting, and what they go in response from the MU Bears.
Yeah, and I think right now Green Tongue Company have a couple of champions that can let them force fights very well. You have the Sivir ult to get in there, and then the Glacial Prison from Sejuani can just lock everyone up. But we'll see what the last two picks are to complement the champions they already have. They also do have the Janna, which gives them very good disengage. Sivir can use her ult for disengage as well. So just they have got good engage and disengage. We do see the Twitch Blitzcrank lane coming out for the Bears. We saw that in the third place playoff yesterday for Ferocity. So maybe just looking for that sort of thing again. The Twitch doing very well in the game yesterday.
Yeah, and he was used very well, using the stealth to get picks. It looks like with these picks, they are looking for that pick comp we were talking about. With Maokai, he's very versatile. He can go team fight, he can go picks. So I suppose they've got an option here, but the Blitzcrank definitely pick based.
And by locking in that bot lane, they do give Azrael the chance to counter-pick his mid laner. Right now, we do see Green Toad Company hovering over the Hecarim and the Ahri, just two kind of general strong picks. Hecarim as well will give them a lot in the team fights alongside the Sejuani, because he's another champion who can force these fights very well with the teleport in and the home guards on him. Like, that's why we've seen him so much in the meta recently.
Yeah, and I think that's what you will see. Just kind of TP plays, Sejuani probably around to lockdown as well, and we do see them both locked in as well. The Ari, also just a really strong poke on top of that. And I think they're good pickups for, just the team fight comp they're looking for with Sivir, Janna, in case anything goes wrong, Sejuani, Hecarim, and we do see the Veigar locked in from MU Bears. That's definitely one to think about.
Yeah, Veigar definitely a pick that we didn't expect to see, especially considering his recent nerfs. The change to his stun made it a lot more difficult to land that, which was what gave him his power and why we were seeing him at support in the few weeks before it was changed. But the Veigar into the Ahri, if he can stay in it, he will be massive late game. He will just be able to blow up the Ahri.
Yeah, the really interesting thing is he was just buffed after the heavy nerfs of 5.4. We will see whether that's enough. His E, the delay was halved from what it was at 5.4, but there still is that delay. His Q now is skill shot. He could scale up very well, and even if Ari gets ahead, that ult still scales off her AP. So it should be good to see.
It does look as if we're going to see the Bears bot lane actually switch roles. Wolfie will take the Twitch while Terrazine will go on the Blitzcrank. This is what we've been seeing from them throughout the tournament. A couple of their players can really switch between the positions, obviously with 280 carry mains in the bottom lane. There's a good bit of flexibility there depending on which champions you lock in.
Yeah, we saw Terrazine's Callista the other day was extremely strong. We saw Wolfie's Twitch yesterday in that third place playoff, which was pretty hard to carry for that game. So we haven't seen Azarel on Veigar yet. I'll be very interested to see how that goes. I'd imagine he's just going to play it very passive. They do have a really good late game comp with Veigar, Twitch, and Maokai. Blitzcrank Lee not really fitting in, but offering enough utility that they'll still win those fights late game. And I think that's what they're going for, kind of late game based idea, but not quite a team fight. I think they are going to go for more pick based comp.
And I think if XJ can show up early in the bottom lane and Terrazine is on point with the hooks, they could get some early kills onto Drieger or Ludacris if they can catch someone out. Obviously, Sivir with the spell shield can be a bit difficult to lock up, but maybe the Janna, if you catch the Janna out, especially pre-6 with the Lee Sin down there, Green Toe Company could find themselves in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he has to be careful though. I mean, with a Janna, if she uses the Twister right, it'll be very difficult for Terrazine and Wolfie to follow up on a Lee Sin gank, which means suddenly XJ's by himself with a Sivir on top of him. That could mean dead Lee Sin. So he just has to be a little careful about when he chooses to engage.
Yeah, and this was the 80 carry matchup we saw yesterday when Wolfie was on that Twitch. He played it against the Sivir, and he really knew exactly how to play that matchup. As soon as he had the items he needed, he'd go find the Sivir and 1v1 her because he knew that he could win those. So he'll be looking to do that again in this game.
And I don't see why not. It got them the win yesterday, and this game, I suppose it's kind of different. It doesn't rely solely on the Twitch. You do have the Maokai kind of peeling off them, both the Veigar and the Twitch. They are both huge damage threats. Veigar, again, needs that time to scale though. He'll need 2 or 3 items before you really see him doing anything.
Yeah, but once he does get those 2 or 3 items, and if he does manage to use his Q to farm up a good bit in the lane, he will come out of that with a ton of AP, and especially if he can get Ari with his ult, there's not a lot Rusty Tail's going to be able to do. Over Rusty Tail, if he can put on the early pressure onto Azrael, he could keep that Veigar down, which would put Green Toad Company in a very good position.
Yeah, Ari, I mean, assassins were what countered Veigar, so when Ari was more assassin based, this would have been a better matchup for her. Now that she's more mage based, it's not the worst matchup for Veigar. Like be very he'd be very stuck if he was against an assassin such as Zed or Diana. I think he can make this matchup work if he plays it right.
There is also N-Line in the top lane with that Hecarim. If he can get a good teleport in, he could maybe get straight onto Azrael and then burst him down before Azrael can even respond, and he's not building AP, so Vhagar, sorry, can turn his own AP against him. And I think that's what he might be looking to do. If he can get on Wolfie and Wolfie is fed, that's obviously preferable because you want to go for the AD carry. But that Vhagar has no easy escapes, and especially Hecarim, the onslaught of shadows, it's very easy for you to get in there and blow him up straight away.
Yeah, speaking of which, neither the mid laner nor the AD carry in this case have any mobility whatsoever. It's going to be relying on the Maokai, the Lee Sin, and the Blitzcrank to peel for them. Blitzcrank not really known for his peel. Lee Sin at least has his ult. Maokai will be really the focus of these fights, trying to keep those carries safe.
And we do see Terrazine with the Ignite, so he's going to be looking to go aggressive early on in this game. So maybe we could see XJ hanging around the bottom side of the map, maybe looking for that kill, because Terrazine with the Ignite, it's clear that the Bears are looking for that kind of pressure early on.
Yeah, I think what you'll see from the Bears is more passive laning at the start, and then you'll see Lee Sin show up, and then it will change quickly. On the other side, you're going to see Sejuani try scale up herself. You're going to see Hecarim try put the Maokai under pressure. You're probably going to see Sivir and Ari trying put pressure in the mid and bot lane themselves. I think right now, if XJ can carry them through the early game with that Lee Sin, we will see an extremely strong comp coming from the Bears.
Yeah, a lot on XJ's shoulders, but if he can pull it off, that will put the Bears in such a good position to take this game. So we have loaded onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, for game one of this best of 5 ICL final between the MU Bears and Green Toad Company. Green Toad Company on the blue side, MU Bears on the red side for this game. And we do see the Bears grouping up at the start of this game, maybe for looking for something in the enemy jungle. They do have that Blitzcrank.
And Twitch, of course, looking to sneak through ahead, and there's no one really there to stop them. Ari is in that side jungle. Whether she'll escape, Hecarim's that side. They are looking for the lane swap, but whether they'll catch them out before they can do that, we'll see.
Yeah, we see N-Line on his way up, and he has ran into the Bears. They're going to get a bit of damage down on him, but he should be fine. The hook actually lands, and this could be N-Line dying very early on. He doesn't have that flash. That is first blood going over to Wolfie. He gets a kill on this Twitch, and that is not what you want. Green Toad Company, him getting a kill before the minions have even come out of the base.
And that also gives away their lane swap, the fact that Hecarim was on that side. So now they know exactly what's happening from the other side of the map, and they can react to that, and they have a kill.
Yeah, Bears getting so much from that early invade. They get the kill and they also get the information, which means they can play the early game how they want to. And right now we do see Wolfie and Terrazine heading towards the top side of the map. In response, Green Toad Company have been forced to switch to the bottom side, so they will still get their lane swap. But the wards for the Bears, they do know that Sivir and Janna are at the bottom side of the map, and they will be able to respond accordingly.
And I think they're just going to take the lane swap for now. It doesn't affect them too badly. Hecarim did opt to go Doran's Blade, which is something you'd use to bully the Maokai, which means he'll be extremely... He won't really be suited to fight a 2v1, so he'll be really stuck getting this farm.
He will indeed. Hecarim with no real way of clearing out minions from a distance. He has to get up close, and that is where he could take a bit of damage from the Twitch, and then Terrazine can land hook. Valinov going very low to blue buff here. Will he go down to it? He's trying to kite it out, and looks like he blue buff takes out Valinov. Not the start you're going to want, and that one tries to get his own blue, but unfortunately it just didn't work out for him, and he's going to have to go back to lane with that death on his scoreboard.
That's just extremely unfortunate. Opting for the ward. He just wants the safe lane, and he's not going to get that now without that blue buff being able to spam those spells. Because he was looking for that for the wave clear. You see him kind of using there, but you will see that mana start to get chunked as it continues. As it's continually pushed in.
Yeah, and we do see the N-Line helping BC around the jungle a little bit, so he gets a bit of CS for himself, and he should be heading to the top side of the map soon enough to face off against Wolfie and Terrazine, hoping for a bit of CS himself. But Wolfie is keeping the minions, keeping the minions around the middle of the lane, so he'll have to be a bit careful for that, especially if Terrazine comes back up to zone him off.
Yeah, Terrazine's decided not to really go for a lane in particular. He went around with XJ there. I think he is going to look to roam a lot as Blitzcrank, try get those picks, try get other lanes rolling on top of that, well, top lane Twitch right now. So I think you will see, and he does come for the mid lane.
He's looking for something mid lane, but Rusty Tail immediately backs off as soon as he sees him. He will keep himself safe. for the moment. The buff to Ari's Q, giving her that little bit of move speed, has really helped her out in the early game, like from staying safe from ganks. She's no longer immobile. She can just toss out that Q and gets that little bit of move speed, which can keep her safe. A bit like Orianna with her own move speed boost.
Yeah, and Veigar not really with any of those, and we do see Blitzcrank coming bot.
Yeah, he's going to get the hook onto Ludacris, and they're going to get a bit of damage down into him. The stun coming in from Azrael as well. Ludacris forced to stay inside the event horizon, and he is going to go very low. The heal coming in from Drieger will keep Ludacris alive. Terzine hanging around looking for something. He's going to take a bit of damage for trouble, but nothing coming out of that really for the Bears. They do get a flash and a heal. So it should give them a little bit of pressure, but they were really looking for the kill, especially with XJ down there at the end.
Yeah, XJ just looking for that Q onto Ludacris, not quite getting it. An unfortunate shot, but I think you will see them kind of roam up towards that mid lane, but Ari and Sejuani headed for top lane. Twitch sees it coming, backs off.
Yeah, they are looking for something on the top side of the map with so many members of the Bears around the bottom side, but it doesn't look like they're going to do anything. Actually, Wolfie does stay, and that means that Rusty Tail can keep going, and he's going to go through a try. We just see N-Line go in with the dash. He's getting a good bit of damage down, but the stealth coming in from Wolfie. Will he be able to get out of this? He is in stealth mode, so he'll back up. The charm hits, though. Rusty Tail gets that. Wolfie does make it out of that fine, but that was a pretty impressive charm considering he'd gone into stealth.
Yeah, it was a very good shot, but you do see Ari had no mana left, so it wasn't a particularly good engage. You were relying on the Hecarim damage if you were trying to roam up. Hecarim clearly wasn't on the same page, had backed off very far, so nothing really comes from it.
Yeah, they do just force Wolfie back a bit. He has to go back, and he does get a Vamp Scepter, so he should be able to stay in a good bit, looking for that bilge water in the near future. So right now, the goal lead that the Bears got from that first blood has sort of been neutralized with CS around the map. Small leads for their top laner and AD carry, but right now the Bears seem to be the one making the bigger moves. We did see that roam top, but XJ just has had more pressure on the map so far.
Yeah, and I think that's fair considering it's Sejuani versus Lee Sin. Sejuani doesn't really have that much pressure early against most well-positioned teams. You really won't see the Sejuani getting much off because she only has that Q and the slow if she gets into melee range. So I think you'll see her try just farm to 6 and then have a huge impact with that ult.
Yeah, she's definitely looking for that level 6, and then she'll be able to get the Glacial Prison on multiple members of the Bears actually. And so right now, just everything's calmed down a bit. We do see XJ maybe looking for a lane gank on the bottom side of the map, joining his top lane. We do see the flash in actually on the route. They're looking for Ludacris with this one. He is knocked out of his jump, but they're going to get a load of damage down on this Jan of the shield. Should mitigate a bit of that, but it looks as if the kill's going to come in. That one goes to Falinov. That's the second kill for the best, but N-Line has teleported down. And now he's looking for XJ. Will XJ be able to get out of this? He gets over the wall. He should be fine. And Falinov turned a double kill for the Mount guy. Rusty Tail is there now. Does Falinov have anything else left in the tank? He gets charmed, so he could be going down for this one. Doesn't look like he's able to get over the wall. Trying to take Drieger. XJ goes in though and takes out Drieger. Falinov does go down, but that is a 3-for-1 for the Bears so far. We see Azrael looking to make something else happen with the Veigar. He has 6. Is he able to get anything? The flash is forced out by Rusty Tail. It's probably necessary because if Veigar caught that Ari up, she was probably gone with that ult. So 3-for-1 in favor of the Bears. Very hectic fight, and it looked repeatedly throughout that they were in a bad position, but they managed to turn around multiple times in that fight and come out on top.
It was a really questionable engage from N-Line because he decided to teleport with so little health that they were able to turn it really easily, just not respecting the fact that Maokai does quite a bit of damage early, especially when he has double Dorans, and of course Lee Sin was there, double longsword. Oh, that's only now of course, but even still he has that early damage, and we do see the big roam mid.
Rusty Tail caught between a rock and a hard place, and he goes down to Azrael. That's his first kill of the game on this Veigar. That's not what you want to be giving this Veigar kills. You want to be keeping them down early, but he should be getting some nice items pretty soon, and as the game goes on, Green Toad Company will find themselves in more and more trouble where that Veigar is concerned.
Yeah, the Veigar with the Aether Wisp almost certainly opting for the Luden's Echo. It's a good item. I'm worrying that he didn't go for the tier. He won't have the mana to spam, and we do see the gank bot.
The spell sheet from Drieger, the hook does not land, and Drieger should be fine for the moment. Uses the ult to get back under tower. The Bears looking for another pick, but not able to pull it off. However, it looks like they're actually going to move towards this dragon. 3 members of them there, and Wolfie on his way down. Actually, Azrael is there as well, so they're all on this dragon now. There's no one really there from Green Toad Company to reply. So it looks like the first dragon of the game is going to go over to the Bears.
Yeah, and they're now going to back to standard lanes with the Maokai TPing top. Now that he's at 6, he's a lot safer. And we do see Twitch stealth down. I think he's just going to lane normally. But that was interesting because they didn't get the gank off on Drieger. They still got him low enough that they knew that Green Toad Company wouldn't be able to contest the dragon. So they all went for it immediately. Maokai TPing top, and now they're back to standard lanes.
Yeah, pretty big item advantage right now for Falinov. Does have that catalyst, so we will be looking for either the Rod of Ages or the Righteous Glory soon enough. We do see though that N-Line has finished his Merc Dread, so he should be able to take a little bit of that damage if he goes back to that lane, which he will. So, but on Falinov's neck back though, as soon as he gets that Rod of Ages and Righteous Glory, he should cause a lot more problems for the Sekram.
And we do see Sejuani sitting in the bot lane looking for that ult. I don't think they'll dive it. They're going to wait for Twitch to push out again. So we will see what they go for now. And Sejuani's shown herself, so they are going to back off.
Yeah, BC pops out of the bush and immediately the Bears think, we see the Glacial Prison come in, but it does not land, only gets a slow into Wolfie. They're going to follow it up though, the heal as well. Wolfie should be fine, he's got right to the back, throws the Venom Cask in, and now with the spray and pray getting a good bit of damage down. He's going to go very low though, the flash is forced down, being not out to Drieger. Can Terrazine turn this around? Looks as if he might get Drieger with this one. He does! Terrazine with the kill, he's going to give his life for it, but they do manage to take it. In that one, it looked as if they were in a pretty bad situation. Wolfie hanging around too long, but he gets out, and it is a 1-for-1. And just as that happens, we get a pause.
That gives us a little time to talk about that engage, which was really just unfortunate. When the Glacial Prison didn't land, they only got the slow. You saw the Sejuani run in straight away and try get something off, but it just wasn't that effective once that ult misses. So you saw like attempt the Q to the gap closer, but the Twitch was still up, was able to flash out, was able to heal, and then you had the Blitzcrank there as well, putting out non-negligible damage, I'd say, against the carry this early. So you did see him go down in the end just because Twitch was able to backtrack enough, and Terrazine was really good in standing in front of Wolfie, so you couldn't really get enough damage past the Blitzcrank and had to focus the Blitzcrank in the end, which ended up giving him a kill.
Yeah, and I think it looked a little bit forced from the side of Green Toad Company. BC did come out of the brush, and they saw him, and they sort of backed off, but they kept going, missed the Glacial Prison, but they kept going, and that might have resulted in it. Like, even if Wolfie did maybe stand a bit too far forward and took a lot of damage, the fact that they went so far for that kill ended up trading for the 1v1.
Yeah, and we do see XJ almost going down to the Krugs, but waiting for his W to come back up, gets the lifesteal, and kills them. We do see he's hit 6 as well, so we might see some, crazy Lee Sin plays. Hoping for maybe an Insec or two. No one really prone to that, just because all the Spell Shield and Sivir, the mobility on Ari, and even the ult and Hecarim is enough to get by it. So he'll probably just opt to continue what he's doing and just kind of put as much pressure down as he can with high damage right now.
Yeah, we do see him heading around the bottom side of the map, but there's no one really there from Green Toad's Company, so we won't be seeing anything from the next couple of while. We shoot Terrazine though, looking for something in the mid lane. The stun does not land. Rusty Tail able to get out of that one with the ult, I believe. So the Bears looking for pressure around the map. Terrazine with the roaming Blitzcrank, but it hasn't worked out amazingly so far. However, it's more of them capitalizing on mistakes that Green Toad Company have made that has given them the lead they have.
I think so too, but what I really enjoy here is if you look at the Veigar build, the Moby Boots Aether Wisp early to kind of combat the lack of mobility on Veigar, to have him just run crazy fast at people is really interesting. We do see the stun land mid.
Yeah, and he gets a good bit of damage down on Rusty Tail with that. Does not blow the ult, but gets the Ari down to half health anyways. And he could be looking for that next time. If he can get another stun down, Rusty Tail could be in a lot of trouble, although Flash is coming up just about now, so that should keep him a little bit safe the next time Azrael looks to go in.
And we see XJ just clearing vision in the bot side. We see he bought wards, he got a lot of wards on his last back. So they're just looking to establish vision as a team right now. And we do see them attempt, and the big gank coming in. Yeah.
They're going very far for that. XJ is charmed. The ult is not doing enough. Azrael does end up getting the kill in the end of that one. That's his second kill of the game on this Veigar. And Rusty Tail picked the Ari to maybe beat the Veigar in lane, but has not had a very nice time in this one. Azrael definitely showing that he knows how to play this champion.
Yeah, which is, I mean, not a champion you'd expect well, any mid laner to really pick up in a tournament, but it's working out so well for him with all this mobility and the fact he's able to get far enough ahead of them and then close the gap and then land the stuns. He didn't land the stun there, but was able to flash forward, get the Q, get the ult, and the ignite, and it was enough.
And we do see the Bears take their first turret of the game, and with that they take a 2.5k gold lead. Wolfie looking for something in the bottom lane with that stealth, but Drieger has gotten out of there at that point, so it looks as if both teams are just going to back off from anything. With Dragon up in 145, do you see Green Toad Company making a play for it?
They'll probably try contest it, but I'm not sure whether it's the best option because they are so far behind individually in every lane, even the jungle. But you do have that Sejuani ult, so it's contestable, and I think they will go for it.
Yeah, that Sejuani ult can really change a team fight, especially if she locks up the Veigar and the Twitch with it. That could turn any fight in Green Toad Company's favour, no matter how far they are behind. However, they do have to land it. The last time we saw it come out, it kind of didn't hit as intended, got the slow, but hopefully for Green Toad Company, BC will be on more on point this time.
I think that's what they have to hope for, because once that Glacial Prison lands, they can follow up a lot of damage with the Hecarim ult on top of that. And 2 immobile carries, they'll be pretty much decimated if those things land. So I think that's what they're going to look for in this next fight, and it will almost certainly be around the dragon that they fight next.
Yeah, N-Line does have those home guards on his Merc treads, so if he can get a good teleport in, he can actually engage that. But the stun onto Rusty Tail gets so much damage, and he is just deleted by Azrael there. And that's the power of the Veigar ult against a champion that builds AP. He can just destroy you with it.
Yeah, and we do see he just come back with a needlessly large rod, so I'm not sure that Green Toad Company were really prepared for the amount of damage he was about to put out. And that gives them mid-inner and probably the dragon.
Yeah, actually has headed to the bottom side of the map. We see the teleport come in. Actually, Falinov looking for this one. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they're looking for BC. They might be able to get him. That Sejuani is tanky, but is she tanky enough? It looks like she's going to be fine. The flash out. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, Ludicrous going very low. The exhaust onto XJ, but Ludicrous taking a bit of damage from Falinov. Forced the flash out, and now N-Line in there to defend his AD carry. They do take out XJ. Falinov going really deep for Drieger here. Forced the flash out. Will he be able to get it with the last auto attack into the bush? Is he able to get it? He does, and now N-Line looking to follow up on the Maokai. Falinov going out the side of the fight, but that is a fast pony. He'll be able to chase down the rest of the Bears, though, are there in support, and that will force N-Line to run away from that one. So I think in the end that ended up to be a 1-for-1 in favour of, well, no one really is a 1-for-1, but with Dragon up, it looks as if the Bears are in good position to take this. They just have to wait on their jungler.
That's the issue. With Sejuani has backed though, they don't know that though, so I think they will avoid it, back, recover. They still have the lead, so they will go for it.
Yeah, we do see the backs come out, but Rusty Tail might have caught out Terrazine in the jungle. Meanwhile, Falinov has found out Ludicrous, but the rest of Green Toad Company are on their way to catch up this Maokai. XJ is now there in support, and is Falinov able to get away from this one? Rusty Tail is not there, so Maokai should be fine for the moment. He's just going to back out of that one. But Green Toad Company with the map position at the moment, they could look to establish control of the Dragon area.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of questioning some of Green Toad Company's engages. It feels like they're not all together on them. They're all engaging at kind of different people in different situations. Like, they could have gotten one kill there, but they opted to split between the Maokai and the Blitz, and it just didn't work out for them. They got neither.
Yeah, and right now they have forfeited control of the Dragon, and it looks as if the Bears are going to be able to establish vision control, at least, as we do see the pause come in. But right now the Bears are in a very good position to take their second Dragon of the game. So just taking stock of the game so far, over a 3k goal lead in favour of the Bears. They do have the tower advantage 2-1. That tower in the bottom lane is very low though, so Green Toad Company might look to take that soon if they can get far enough up the map. Also the Dragon advantage to the Bears. So what will Green Toad Company be looking to do to get back into this?
I think they'll probably try fight out this dragon, but with all the ults except Sejuani's down, I'm not sure it's going to be the fight for them. I can't imagine. Yeah. I can't imagine that they will, like that going for it will result in anything positive for them, but I think they still might try go for it, try get at least even in kills while the dragon goes down.
Yeah, that's if they can get the fight they sort of want. As we do hear a bit of action, we'll see that in about 3 minutes or so. But right now, just looking at the builds coming out, there is the Luden's Echo for Azrael as well as the mobility boots. So that's going to be a very fast Vagar flying around the map. And if he can keep safe at the back of these fights, if he can use his mobility to avoid the charm and any other dangerous skill shots that has come his way, he can just tear apart these fights right now because he is very far ahead.
Yeah, and you see actually the double ruby crystal from Maokai could be hinting towards a righteous glory, which allows for this really heavy engage, which is really good for this kind of comp that's so good at picking people off, especially with their burst in the Vagar and Lee Sin. And I think once they get this second dragon, which they should be able to get, I think they will start building towards that righteous glory in the Maokai and really looking for these picks.
Yeah, if Falinov does pick up that Righteous Glory, he can go straight into the fight, right onto Drieger and Rusty Tail in the back line. And he's soaking up a good bit of damage now. Obviously, he has that Rod of Ages, which will take a while to stack, but he is still a beefy tree. He's proven to be not easy to take down because he got those kills early on, and he is very far ahead of his opposing number.
Yeah, early in the game, I think health is the most efficient defensive stat. It's why Cinderhook is so effective early on all these new tank junglers coming back into the meta. But you do see a lot of health coming out with the Rod of Ages and double Ruby Crystal. I am interested to see if he does go for that Righteous Glory because I think it will suit the comp really well right now.
Yeah, and we do see Wolfie also has his Blade of the Rune King at this point, and this is the point where Twitch is really looking to make plays, and this is the point where we saw him make all those plays in yesterday's game. So I think Green Toe Company have to have that in the back of their minds. They have to be thinking, okay, this Twitch, do we have vision on him? If we don't, we have to be very careful that he doesn't pick us off.
I think Green Toad Company are doing a good job of staying together for the most part, or at least not completely isolated that Twitch could pick them off. Twitch can't really fight an Ahri because the charm will be up, and Twitch doesn't have any mobility to dodge a charm. So I think he's looking for a pick specifically on the Sivir, and I'm not sure Green Toad Company have been good in not giving it to him.
Yeah, and we are going to get back into game with the Bears on this dragon. They are going to leave it for the moment with the rest of Green Toe Company on their way up, taking out that pink ward. They're just doing the dance, but they do take that their second dragon of the game. Now the stun onto Ludicrous though. The Bears might look to fight this. They delete Ludicrous, and now the rest of Green Toe Company are scrambling back. The Dragger is kicked into the rest of the team, and he's hooked back in. There's no escaping the Bears. XJ sort of running from BC in the back line, but the rest of his team are there to follow up. N-Line doing what he can, but Falinov is too tanky right now. Rusty Tail goes down as well, and only N-Line and BC are left up. N-Line is stun locked, and the pony could be the next to go down. He looks as if he's going to get at the back as they turn their attention to BC. The hook in, and Sejuani goes down as well. Only N-Line up with Azrael in chase, and he does get it. That is going to be the clean ace there. The 5-0 in favour of the Bears, and now they're looking to push up the lane.
Yeah, when the Vagar chooses to ult the support, it's often a hint to try engage from the other side, but Rusty Tail had no mana. Like a problem he's had before in some of these fights, but engaging them at that point is suicide, and we watched it there. He died pretty much immediately and put out very little damage.
And we do see the Bears take the Green Toe Company blue buff. Vagar will have that ult up even quicker now, and Rusty Tail will be quivering in his boots when he sees that champion on the map. So right now they're just heading out back to the lanes, getting a couple of wards down, sort of resetting the game, but a massive swing in favour of the Bears right now with the 6k gold lead, and Green Toe Company really have to start winning the next couple of fights if they're going to get their way back into this one.
Yeah, as we talked about before, they do have a good team fight in the Hecarim and Sejuani, but we just haven't seen it. We didn't even see an ult in that last fight. It didn't work out for them. They used it, but it didn't help them. They were left stuck because Sejuani was the only ult up. They couldn't, try escape with the Sivir ult and try kite it around. The Ahri struggled to try move around the side of the fight, and Janna couldn't really disengage because she was blown up.
Yeah, and Drieger himself was blown up right at the start of that fight. XJ with the beautiful kick into the rest of the team. And with your 80 carry down straight away and the support already completely blown up, there's not a lot you can do, especially when your mid laner has no mana to do any damage with.
Yeah, I think that's the real issue here. And from that, we see the Vagar coming out 504. We see a 205 Twitch. neither of which you really want to deal with. The Twitch is kind of solo farming with the Avarice Blade, which is really nice for him. Get that extra gold, move towards probably a U-moves for that extra move speed and damage, and I think that's almost certainly what he's going to go. But it also, building the Avarice this early just allows him to continually farm up and get even more gold than he was already getting.
Yeah, and that Maokai as well. 5-2. For actually, they're going to look for the fight in this one. Will they get the knock up on Ludicrous? The knockback with the Monsoon should keep him safe at the wall. But BC has gone in and goes straight back out, forced to blow the Glacial Prison there. But they're going to actually follow up this one. Wolfie going very low to Rusty Tail in the backline. Will be able to make it out alive. The Ignite is on him, but the shield from XJ. Rusty Tail goes in and gets the kill. 1-0 right now in favour of Green Toad Company. And they're looking to turn this around. Telepathy very low. And he will go down that one. 2-for-1 right now. Azaril trying to fight BC in this one. Rusty Tail gets stunned at the side of the fight, but gets the shutdown. XJ doing what he can in the middle of the fight. Falinov is not there for support in the top lane right now, and the rest of the team are trying to follow up. He managed to get out, but BC is going to follow up. The Onslaught of Shadows will get the kill right now. That is the fight that Green Toe Company needed. It was only 4-for-3 though, but small steps.
They did have the advantage and they took it. I mean, everyone was low on the side of the Bears, which meant that they were able to be picked off by Rusty Tail, who had mana this time, and we showed how important it was when he's able to get his damage down and the charm and the twitch. Obviously, it was a 4v5 towards the end there. Falinov wasn't in that fight, so I'm still not sure Green Toad Company wants to take 5v5s, but it shows that they can take the advantages they're given.
Yeah, they managed to catch out the Bears with their top laner not around in the top lane without his teleport, and they picked up the fight as a result. And that gives them a couple of kills, you know, that gives them a bit more gold for the items they need. And we see Ari now with that newly large rod, so she's going to start doing a good bit more damage. And if she can find Wolfie again at the start of the fight, that could spell good things for Green Toad Company.
I think, as we said before, as we were going into this game, it's on the Maokai to peel for them as the late game approaches. Right now we're kind of towards the mid game, so he's not necessarily going to be grouped with them all the time. When he is, though, he's going to have to peel for them, because right now they put out quite a lot of damage when they're allowed to.
Yeah, so right now we see both teams neither being really aggressive right now. After the last fight sort of just reset and pushed up the lanes, getting a bit of vision control. We do see Dragon up in a minute though, so that's going to be the next big objective, and if Green Toad Company can get that, they're on their way to slowly make their way back in this game. But actually, they might have got XJ in the jungle, clearing out a ward. XJ though, on these things, very mobile, gets over the wall, and he should be fine right now. He's locked over the Glacial Prison though, but there's no one really there to follow up on that, so maybe a bit of a blown ult there for BC.
Yes, an extremely questionable Glacial Prison after the Q had already been blown, so you can't go over the wall, and they had no real form of gap closer there. The Hecarim ult wasn't up, so he couldn't go over the wall or anything, and they do see the engage mid.
Yeah, Drieger with the spell shield out means he can avoid this stone. They're trying to lock him up. Rusty Tail goes so low. Azaril just completely blows him up with Primordial Burst. You know, Terazine actually looking to fight Drieger on this. Has the Ignite, the mana barrier as well, will negate a bit of damage, but he might have gone a bit too far forward, and that is almost a free kill for Drieger there, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 for Green Toad Company. Terazine maybe playing that a bit overzealously.
Yeah, but I think they'll still be happy overall with that Veigar almost one-shotting the Ahri, and then Terazine decided to flash ult and managing almost to 1v1 the AD carry. To be fair, it was quite close in the end, but didn't quite pull it out.
And with the cooldown reduction that Azrael has, that ult is already past halfway off cooldown. So that's going to be up for the next fight. And Rusty Tail has to be really scared of the damage this Veigar is doing to him, as we do see the Bears take their third dragon of the game and deny it from Green Toe Company, who are still on none.
Yeah, we actually saw the Sejuani ward over the back of the red buff, and then they warded over the side of the dragon pit. So they knew that the dragon was being taken, but weren't in position for it, so just had to leave it go.
Yeah, and despite the last couple of fights they've gotten have either gone even or in their favour, it's the Bears just taking all the objectives. They have the lead in towers, they're about to take another one here. That'll be 4 for them at this stage, only 1 for Green Toe Company right now, and the 3-0 in Dragon is just the objective game. The hook misses on Ludicrous, but Wolfie's auto attacks do a good bit of damage now. Actually, DeBC following up here, but there's no one really there with damage. Drieger is following up though now, and they might have caught out Terazine. There's not a lot you can do. He's looking for something, turns back in, but BC picks up that kill. So another kill there for Green Toe Company, and they're beginning to pick up kills. The Bears do take the blue buff, but that's probably going to be worth for Green Toe Company unless they get onto this tower. Actually, we do see, sorry, the 1v1 in the bottom lane. Drieger is forced to flash, ult, spell shield, everything out of that. The Venom cast misses, but Wolfie forcing a lot out, and those are the 1v1s that he wants.
And just using the stealth to his advantage there. And Drieger trying to stick around might be a bit questionable, but we do have the Glacial Prison, misses again, and we do see the...
Only slows that time. He does want to get Drieger before he goes down, so they do trade 1-for-1 with the gank from BC. And with that pressure, the Bears did get a good bit of control on the top side of the map and ended up getting the tower, so it is going to be probably worth for them.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be pretty happy with that, especially showing that Terrazine is so powerful right now, and Wolfie is so powerful that he can take those fights.
And we do see the Iceborne Gauntlet coming out for Terrazine in this one, so maybe just looking to add a bit of punch to those hooks as he's looking for endline in this one. XJ is there, so they might be able to get him if he can land the hook. That's a very fast Blitzcrank running after him. He gets the hook, and XJ is going to follow up with this one, but endline is pretty tanky. Following off now there. You the also shadows to get out, but XJ follows up the queue. BC is now there in support, and now it looks as if Green Toe Company are looking to turn this around. Following off in the backline, but they go onto XJ. Following off taking up a lot of damage in this one, but he looks to get out now as the rest of Green Toe Company just turn on him. That is going to be the shutdown onto the Maokai. Green Toe Company are looking to follow this up. Call out in Azrael's stun though, so it looks as if the Bears are going to get away with only the one death, but Green Toe Company just taking kill after kill around the map, and they've closed it up on that score.
I think the Bears are just playing a little too, like, arrogantly almost. They're just kind of walking into these fights, and they are looking for another pick.
Every time Terrazine with that speed boost, you have to be very nervous for Green Toe Company, but they do manage to avoid it that time. Terrazine with the speed boost again, looking for something here, but there's only him and Wolfie around. Drieger does manage to take out Terrazine straight away, but Wolfie is shredding through Green Toe Company. He gets one, he's looking for a second, wouldn't be able to get it. It looks like he will not. Azrael does pick it up, but Wolfie does go down, and now Azrael looking to do what he can to the remaining members of Green Toe Company. Endline a little bit low, and XJ is there as well. Misses the Q, so he will lose out on that damage, but the righteous glory popping fell enough. Is he able to get there? Looks like he isn't. That is a very fast pony for Endline, and he should be fine where that one is concerned. Going to get back to the safety of his own turret, so it ends up being a 2-for-2 trade in the middle lane. It looked as if it was another over aggressive fight, but this time the Bears go even.
It was over aggressive early, just they gave up that kill for free because Twitch was backed and he wasn't anywhere near that fight. Veigar was near it, but wasn't really in a position to kind of come for it quickly. It was a pretty bad call, and they do have the vision at least established now that they can go for this Baron. Whether they want to or not with Sejuani around, I mean, Sivir showing bot, they could try and move towards it now.
Yeah, we saw in that fight, it looked as if Wolfie was in a very bad position, caught right in the middle of Green Toe Company, but he just does so much damage right now and just shredded them, ended up not getting the kills, but his team was there to help him clean up at the end of it, so he did end up dying, but they managed to trade evenly. However, with the lead they have, they should be looking to win these fights, not just trade even, and I imagine next time there's a fight coming around, they'll look to win it, as opposed to just trade for kills.
Yeah, and I think 5v5 fights, they had such a big lead that they easily win them. They move to this Baron now, and we do see it possibly being stolen, but I think they can still win this 5v5.
Azrael just deletes Ludicrous on his way up. The Glacial Prison hits too, but they're going to turn onto BC now. There's no one really there from Green Toe Company to follow up. The hook back in, and BC will go down. 2 kills for the Bears right now, and it looks as if there's nothing really stopping them from turning onto this Baron.
Yeah, what happened there was good to peel away, and we do see the continued engage from Green Toe Company. We'll see if they do decide to go for this.
Yeah, they're hanging around in the area. The ult comes in from Drieger, runs straight into Terrazine. Will they be able to steal this one? There is no jungler there, so it looks as XJ should get this one. But no, it is stolen. Green Toe Company get it. Endline with the steal, and they get 2 kills from the fight, taking out Wolfie and Terrazine. XJ does manage to take out Endline, but if Green Toe Company are getting anything. The Maokai versus the Sim hanging, doing as much damage. A massive turn there.
That was just an extremely bad misplay from the Bears to first of all miss the Baron and then have such a poor team fight afterwards, just not respecting the like, first of all miss smiting of course, but then not respecting the fact that the enemy had Baron buff and continuing the engage and dying immediately.
Yeah, there was a 3v5 they lost there with BC and Ludacris dead going into the fight. So right now, Drieger is the only one with the Baron buff on him right now, so they're not going to get it on many people, but the denial from the Bears, it looked as if they were going to get all 5 members with it. And right now, they're actually looking for their first dragon of the game. Only Terrazine is really around the objective. XJ on the wrong side of the map. Green Toad Company not taking it just yet, though, and the Bears might be able to scramble enough members up in that direction to try to take it themselves.
Yeah, I think there's just, with the Baron buff now on Sivir, pretty much for free and handing over a bunch of kills, it almost evens it up. I mean, they still have we do have a hard engage coming in, but we do see possibly a turn.
Yeah, the BC pops out of the bush, but Ludacris already very low with the Monsoon, though, should heal a bit back up, and N-Line comes charging in. They're looking for Terrazine, but the mana barrier will keep him alive a little bit longer. He does end up going down at the end. Meanwhile, Drieger in the back line looking for Wolf. He does not get him straight away. They're going to turn on to Balanov now. That Mekai should be able to sustain a bit of damage, but there's no one there from the Bears to do any damage themselves. So 2 kills for Green Toad Company. Drieger caught in the thing, and he is taken out by XJ. Azrael's burst is just so much, doesn't matter who you are, but it ends up being a 2-for-1 in favour of Green Toad Company, so they will take their first dragon of the game, and in the last couple of minutes they've completely gotten back in this one.
Yeah, no, just really poor engages from the Bears. That was another 4v5 engage. Veigar was topside there and wasn't contributing whatsoever. Yes, he cleaned up at the end, but being able to clean up at the end just shows that they could have won at 5v5, even though they chose not to.
Yeah, we hear another action from the players here, so we're going to be something in the next couple of minutes, but right now the Bears licking their wounds, sort of just looking to push out the lane, and they're going to wait for Baron buff to come off. Actually, it was taken off Drieger in that fight, but they need to win the next 5v5. They have not won a 5v5 for a good while now, despite being ahead for the whole game.
The issue is they haven't fought a 5v5 for the past while. The last 5v5 they got close to was that Baron fight, but it wasn't a proper 5v5. They went down immediately to a Hecarim ult as they continued to tank the Baron, and it all got blown up immediately after what was kind of a double pick they'd gotten and was completely turned against them.
Yeah, you could say coming into the series that the MU Bears were favoured, but Green Toad Company putting up a very good fight in this one, and right now they actually have a pincer movement on the Bears. The Bears going to turn onto Ludacris and BC at the back, and they might be caught out of position, but N-Line is there and he's looking to get the ult, go straight onto Azrael. Ludacris is bursting down, but he makes it out alive in this one, and Drieger gets Azrael right at the start of this fight. They're now looking to go after Balanov after taking out Terrazine, and 2 kills right now for Green Toad Company in favour of none for the Bears, and the Bears just cannot catch a break in these fights with XJ and Wolfie nowhere to be seen. They take that one, and fight after fight going to Green Toad Company. He's looking for the assassination onto BC, but that is a tanky Sejuani, so you're not going to be able to just burst her down straight away, and now they're looking to push the mid lane.
And that tower almost certainly going down, but what we're seeing here again is just not 5v5 engages, and Wolfie's continue to engage, but they do miss it.
Yeah, XJ is going to follow up in BC. They're trying to get him this time around. BC does manage to get out of that one, though, and Drieger getting a bit of damage now, but Wolfie has a good bit of damage himself. Is forced to flash. Wolfie does get Rusty Tail. He's looking to follow up the heal coming in. The boomerang blade thrown out, though, and Drieger with enough smooth speed should be fine in this one. XJ and Wolfie not able to follow up. So the Bears do get the pick, but it took them a while, and that is the first advantage that they've gotten in a good while, and it's a very small one.
Yeah, I mean, they have the late game comp. I don't know why they tried force all these picks so hard, and then all these picks didn't work because they were fighting with a team, and we do see the team fight here bot again.
Drieger might be caught out, but is kicked away, and he will be fine. We see the Bears grouping at this bottom tier, so they may be looking to take this. Wolfie getting a good bit of damage down. But the Green Toad Company are heading up there, so they might be able to defend. The shield comes in to keep it alive a little bit longer, and they won't get it just yet. BC actually look for it, gets the Glacial Prison on 2, and they're going straight. Wolfie, the Twitch, going very low in this one. N-Line do a good bit of damage. Well, Terrazine actually turning his attention onto Drieger, but he goes down to Rusty Tail. And N-Line and BC just tacking up so much damage. They take out XJ. This fight is all over the place from the Bears, and right now, Balanov, the only man left standing for the Bears. Triple kill for Rusty Tail in this one, and looking for Balanov, that it will be the ace for Green Toad Company, only losing their jungler, and a very split fight from the Bears here, and Green Toad Companies take advantage.
And what we were talking about before, with the Maokai needing to peel for these carries, he wasn't even there at the start. He TP'd in way too late, just almost giving up an extra free kill just for the Green Toad Company. And now the kills are even in the fight, with Green Toad Company ahead in gold.
Yeah, and this was the engage we were talking about from the Green Toad Company's comp. The Glacial Prisons from Sejuani, straight into the Onslaught of Shadows from Hecarim, and they just lock up Wolfie for so long, and that Hecarim does a good bit of damage to the AD carry with the Trinity Force. So there's not a lot you can do about that, especially with the Maokai not around to tank up any sort of damage, and it just seems a bit disjointed from the Bears right now. They don't seem to be on the same page where these fights are concerned.
Yeah, and while earlier you saw the Green Toad Company weren't in the best communication, you see now that they are like sinking those ults and doing so much damage to the carries that these fights are almost unwinnable for the Bears, especially when they keep not having 5 grouped.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough task for them as they fall behind in gold for the first time in the game ever since that first blood 1 minute in. And Green Toad Company are now the team coming to this Baron with the advantage, and the Bears have to be very wary of getting caught out by the Glacial Prison or the Onslaught of Shadows. They are just going to push in the mid lane for a moment, but their minds have to be on Baron with this one.
And now this is the 5v fight that MU Bears need. If they win it, that could show huge for them.
Wolfie with the spray and pray, but it looks like BC's going to lock them up in the backline. N-Line follows up. Great engage from the Green Toad Company. The tanks are going to go low, but they should be fine for the moment. As we'll just get the shutdown onto Rusty Tail, but right now 3 for 1 in favour of Green Toad Company. They're going to be able to take Balanov out of this one, and they just take out the carry straight away. 4 for 1 in favour of Green Toad Company, and they are going to push straight down the mid lane with only XJ there to defend.
Yeah, and I mean, that time Balanov wasn't able to peel enough, but I'm not even sure it's his fault so much as the lead was gone that they had, and with that the peel just isn't enough because so much damage is now coming out of Green Toad Company as they continue to push out. Getting this inhib on top of that just shows that they're really dominant in this game right now just because they've cut down that lead and now have this great engage that is showing up huge for them.
See, almost a bait there from Green Town Company. We saw them backing off as soon as Wolfie entered stealth. Didn't look like they wanted to fight, but then BC just comes in from the back, locks up the back line, and when you hit the Glacial Prison on so much members of the Bears, there's nothing you can really do in those fights, especially with N-Line following up those Hecarim ults. The combo, the Sejuani ult into the Hecarim ult, is winning these fights for Green Toad Company, and the Bears right now are not able to do anything to stop it.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing as well, just the flank working so well from the Sejuani is just showing that Bears not putting up their usual vision control that we've come to expect of them in the last few series that we watched it. And I think that's something they really need to improve on if they're going to try to turn this game around.
Yeah, right now all the wards on the map really in favour of Green Toad Company. We do see the Bears take the 4th dragon now. That's their first objective in a while, but in response, Green Toad Company are on Baron. Can the Bears scramble there quick enough to get the fight they want? We do see 4 members of them heading up. The on the ult is popped out, and the fight begins. Azrael taken very low and is taken immediately by N-Line. Does manage to get his ult off before he goes down. Terzine right there in the back line. Double kill for N-Line. This Hecarim is tearing through them. 3 kills right now for Green Toad Company. Terzine and Balanov trying to escape, but there is so much chase from Green Toad Company. So Johnny follows up. Triple kill for N-Line. Another kill for BC in that one. That is the ace for Green Toad Company. Only their mid laner going down, and with no one up in the next half a minute, they are probably going to look to end.
And that's the surrender coming from the Bears, because that was almost certainly the end of the game. And what we saw there was just an unfortunate kind of half engage where the tanks on the Bears decided to go into the back line, and it didn't suit them because they needed to peel for the carries, and in the end they were jumped, they lost, and well played from the Green Toad Company.
Yeah, so that is game 1 going over to the Green Toad Company. We will be back with game 2 of this best of 5 very shortly.